and being that agreeable, soft, serving wife, all of the things, right?
Yeah.
I had to become the person that you see right now because I know that even if you have a man, they're not always reliable because men
Mm,
are not raised to be husbands. Men
mm.
are not raised to be leaders, they're raised to be men
But would it
that
matter?
don't lead
Would it
that,
matter?
but
Would it matter if men were
it
raised to be
would
husband?
matter
If
absolutely
hold on,
because
hold on, let me just finish that real quick. And I'm just a interruption this quick. Would it even matter if men were raised to be husbands? If in fact the bohemes of society was raised to look at men as second fiddle as far as survival
that
and
is
choose,
not. I
would it even?
really and the thing is, this is what be pissing me off because
Mhm.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is my
No, well,
mother
I'm just
taught
asking the
me to
question.
have substance. My mother taught me to stand on my own 2 feet in case. She supported the idea that I wanted to be a wife. She supported the idea that I wanted to have a man. My mother was not raising me to tell me that men don't matter. What she was raising me to do is to stand on my own in the case that a man does not come because it is a crapshoot that you're going to grow up and be married, especially in the society that I grew up in the times that I grew up in. It was not my fault. You all are looking at me as if, oh, your mama raised you to be an independent woman. No, she raised me to do the things that I needed to do in the case that a man did not come along because she was not going to have me out here just picking any kind of man.
Mhm.
She wanted me to have my choice.
Yeah.
She
So,
wanted me to pick something healthy. She
mhm.
wanted me to be healthy and be self sufficient so that I wouldn't be a burden on a man and so I wouldn't be dependent on a man because that is a very vulnerable position to be in and you
Mhm.
are vulnerable to be abused. And because my mother was
Damn, what about
abused,
love? Why does it got to jump
because
to
my
abuse?
mother was abused, because my grandmothers were abused by men who solely took
So that's
care of
trauma
them,
speaking.
she didn't want that for me. She wanted
Mhm.
me to have my pick of a man that could treat me right. And she wanted me to be a woman of substance. That does not mean she never taught me you don't need no man. No man, and you'll never hear me say I don't need a man. And
No.
you'll never hear me say that I can do this without it. I know that I cannot, but I
Mhm.
have to. This is what I'm
Question,
saying. I
Bo. I
need
have a question
one,
for you.
but I have to do it without because they're just not here.
Yeah.
Gotta
So,
interrupt. Gotta interrupt.
question for you, real quick. So, when you say I have to, I'm trying to choose the right man, right? She's trying to choose the right man.
Damn,
I'm
what?
trying to make the right decision, and I'm like, cool. My view is that when we've been doing this for so long, and we're kind of,
I don't know
but
what.
sorry, Bo. What I was kind of alluding to was when you're making statements, and this is how normalized it is. How we don't even realize some of the ways in which we're describing this stuff, how it can be a part of certain systems. Like sometimes we'll espouse things and it actually sounds kind of Marxist in nature. Sometimes it sounds kind of socialist in nature. It's the same thing when it comes to feminism. If the patriarchy was one in which you wouldn't have been making all of these moves and decisions on your own by default when it came to these men anyway. So in order for you to arbitrarily go from man to man to man to date and figure out sexually, emotionally, psychologically, marriage, that is that sexual liberation, that is feminist.
Mm.
So for you to, you're so far down in the weeds that it's almost like it it's like somebody who was born only seeing black and white and trying to describe to them what color looks like.
Mm.
You're describing about the after effects of what's not working and what you've tried and why your mom had to teach you certain things. What I'm suggesting is it's not the issue about the job. It's not the every decision that you made was a product of the sexual liberation movement. You got to pick your spouse. You got to pick who you could have sex with. You could decide if you wanted to get divorced. All what I'm saying is a patriarchal. I'm not even saying patriarchy is fine. What I'm saying is the opposite of what you did would have been a father figure, an uncle, a father, a grandfather. They would have been the buffer from you making some of the decisions that you made, that you felt that you made out of emotion, out of feelings, and it just didn't work out.
No, they taught me the same thing.
So, as an example, unless you think how old are you, Bo?
I'm 44.
Okay. Unless you think that your mate selection option choices is incredible from when you started dating till 44, there was supposed to be a buffering factor so that you're not 44 years old still having this conversation. The issue is not that you're stupid. The issue is not that you're immature. The issue is all these ancient civilizations that did it a different way. We in the modern world think we're smarter than them. Maybe there was there was something there that they had in place to prevent this thing from happening. And I'll give you an example. When I talk to women about this whole things not working out, in and out of relationships, lengthy periods where they're just not having success. And when I'm finding out what's the reason for why you're leaving, this guy doesn't communicate, this guy cheated, this guy this guy that. And I asked them a simple question. If you had to choose between one man that you gave 20 chances to or 20 men that you give one chance to, which would you choose? Your lifestyle. And I'm not saying you, I'm saying women's lifestyles that are single that are off and on and not successful long-term for 10, 15, 20 years is that they're choosing the option B. They keep giving these chances to men that were supposed to be vetted by somebody else other than your emotions.
Oh,
that is feminism. You were not designed to go through 20 men, through 22 decades of trying to figure it out on your own. And now you have to do survivability politics. The job is the job. That's dope. I'm proud of you. You're established. You're independent. You got a lot of dope things going on. The process of what you were doing between dating, sex, marriage, situationships, all that trauma and disappointment, somebody was supposed to stop that shit. And you were never designed to do this. So when I say the level of depth of how much we've been saturated with this shit is why our community is what it is now. So when the black man is telling you, and I'm not saying like you got to listen to me, what I'm saying is a black brother is trying to tell you there is a ideology that influenced and put us in the position that they convinced a generation of women that sexual liberation was a benefit to them and not men. Okay? Men who got the options, love y'all sexual liberation. More power to you. Love it. And hold on. And I ain't got to meet your father.
what?
And some of y'all gonna give me kids and I ain't even got to meet your family.
I ain't even got to
Oh,
know
I
your
love
birthday.
this feminism. Give me more of that. Feminism has so what I'm saying is a lot of the decisions that you think were just yours was really about the environment and time period that you were born into, that some of this stuff is normalized. OnlyFans ain't normalized. Having double-digit men over a 20-year time period ain't normalized. Not being able to know who the father of your child is ain't normalized. Being the least married demographic is crazy when we had the highest during Reconstruction. So much of where we got into now is because of feminism.